Everyone's on that mission for the real love, right? That real relationship that you've been wanting to have. But the truth is, you have to make sure you're actually ready for that. And the biggest thing that lets you know if you're ready or not for that kind of love is how well you handle conflict. Not whenever you guys love each other to pieces and it's easy and it's all beautiful and it's great and it's fun. No, but how you speak, act, and show up whenever it's hard. Because that's the space where love either grows or it dies. If you're more focused on being right during a conflict situation, you're not ready for real love, right? Because love is not a competition. And if every disagreement turns into a battle to prove a point, you're actually proving you're more committed to your ego than to your partner and the connection you're trying to build. Love never needs a winner, it needs resolution. And heck, love itself, the essence of it, is only ever seeking the resolution. It's only seeking the harmony. It's only seeking the positive vibration. So if you handle conflict situations with your partner in a way that's not seeking the harmony and not seeking the positive vibration or frequency, then effectively you're not ready for what you claim you're ready for, right? You're still in a space of proving things and soothing your ego and self-validating yourself and all these things versus truly trying to build the bridge, connect, and figure out how to work together as one. And then some of you don't realize how much disrespect reveals emotional immaturity. All the yelling you do at your partner during arguments, right? Name calling, right? Start, saying nasty stuff to them and everything else. Maybe they're doing it back to you as well, right? Or over talking, cutting them off. That's not just how you are. No, that shows a lack of emotional regulation. See, love requires discipline in how you speak to your partner, how you speak to one another, even when you're angry. Actually, that's the most important time. That's where love needs to be present the most. That's where it's the stage that shows how much love you actually are prepared for and that you have to offer and receive and so forth, right? What you can give is when you're not in the happiest spaces, can you still lead with love? Because your words don't just end after you say them or after the fight's over or after the argument stops. No, those words echo. They carry with your partner. They don't just forget because our brain is wired to look out for the negative, harmful things. This is why, it takes like, they say 1,000 data boys to replace one "you're horrible" comment, right? This is why studies have shown the most successful couples, right? They practice 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative one because the negative stuff always seems to scream louder because it's a pain point. It's something you don't like, something you don't want. So your brain focuses on it to move away from it. So whenever you say toxic things or hurtful things to your partner, say something disrespectful to them, or even your treating of them in a conversation is disrespectful, those words and that experience, your mannerisms, the energy carries with them. They remember that. Starts working into the subconscious the more you do it more frequently, right? A one-off is alarming and they don't just necessarily forget it, but it starts becoming something that carries with them the more that is a regular practice that they experience with you. And before we go getting crazy with this, right? I'm not saying you're going to, always lead with love the right way and always respond the best way. I'm not saying we don't have emotionally charged moments, right? Where we get ahead of ourselves or, we heard something that was triggering enough that we reacted impulsively from a space of emotion and hurt and less response, right? To where maybe it came out rigid, maybe it came out kind of messed up, right? That's human, right? That happens. But it's not about being perfect because you're not, but you do have to be accountable, right? See, that's a whole other lane. And a lot of people aren't even being accountable for their unhealthy way that they're approaching or navigating or handling their partner in a conflict situation. We all fall short of the goal sometimes, but how do you bounce back? That's the question. See, being ready for love doesn't mean you never mess up. Heck, I'll get it out of the way for all of us. You're going to mess up, right? You're going to drop the ball at some point. It just happens. But it means when you do, right? When that happens, you circle back. That means you apologize for your tone or for the words you used. It means you own your role, right? You repair whatever you damaged. Healthy love isn't conducted flawlessly, right? But it is built on accountability, right? It is built on whatever needs to happen to bring things to a space of harmony. And sometimes that is you owning your part that didn't help that harmony. Sometimes it's helping your partner see where their piece didn't help that harmony, right? Sometimes it's really just quieting that ego to choose to be in love over being right. But see, you can't really do that if you're not really ready for that. If you're still in the space of it being more valuable to you and on your journey, wherever season of life you're in, to be right for things, or to just let that impulse just run away with you, or even if it does happen, you still be too prideful to come back and acknowledge where maybe you could have been even justified in turning up or being upset the way you were, but in the way in which you did it, right? That's not just justifiable. But if you can't come in and acknowledge those type of things, you're not ready to be in a relationship with someone that can be healthy. You're just not. And the thing is, the more that kind of behavior continues in your relationship, is the more your conflict style begins to teach your partner what love looks like from you. And heck, here's the kicker, because this is all we attract war and harmony type of experience. So you're not only teaching them what love looks like from you, but you're furthering probably an unhealthy narrative about what love looks like in general for them and how they are loved by people, because they probably were attracted to you and drawn to you like you were drawn to them because you match each other's frequencies, right? They probably have some unhealthy, unhealed spaces in them as well, to where they've been used to being loved the way you're loving on them right now, or not loving on them, right? To where now you become an extension of an ongoing narrative, right? To where you're helping to further along a perspective that's not good for them and their own sense of worth and things. Just like you're giving the impression that you actually would never want to intentionally give to someone that you say you care about and that you love. See, the way you handle disagreements becomes your relationship's emotional blueprint, right? And this goes for you and your partner. It's a two-way street. It's a process that, you create together. Even though one of you can be a lot more overtly toxic than the other one, it's still, the foundation you're building for your relationship emotionally, right? And if conflict always turns into destruction every time, then you're creating emotional instability, and that ain't love. If you really want to know if someone's ready for a loving relationship, truly, watch how they handle tension. Watch what happens when you disappoint them. Watch how they react whenever they're triggered. Because you see, love isn't proven in the moments when you're saying, I love you. Oh, no. It's proven in the moments when you could hurt your partner, but you choose not to. And at the very, very least, if you drop the ball and fall short of the mark like we all do sometimes, you circle back and you make it right, and you do what's necessary to reinforce that, no, I do love you. I just had a lapsed moment. And here's what I'm doing to make it better, and so that I don't wind up there again. So if you're actually ready to lead with love, right? Meaning you embody that compassion that's required to, the accountability, the ownership, to own your part, your role, and the care that's required to actually make a loving relationship work, then awesome. You are ready for the relationship and the love that you say that you want. But if you're not, it's okay. Just be honest with yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's not the disagreements and the conflict that ruins or ends the relationships, right? It's really the avoidance of acknowledging your role in it and how it's hurting the relationship as a whole. It's the ego, right? That you need, and it's that having higher value and being right than being in love or figuring it out and bringing resolve. And it's the pride, right? Feel like you're, standing up for something to hold ground for yourself by not giving in some or just trying to acknowledge where your part is not helping the situation. It is never a bad thing to acknowledge if you're not in that season of being able to offer what you would like to in the lane of leading with love to truly have a healthy relationship. It's all right. Doesn't mean you're broken. Doesn't mean you won't get there. But until you embrace that you're not there, you'll never be able to do the work to get there, right? Because the last thing you actually want, I'm pretty sure, is to keep selling yourself a lie. And then you go sell someone else that same lie. And you get into a relationship that winds up being sabotaged by you and maybe by them as well, because you or both of you are not healed enough or healthy enough to actually be in that relationship to get what you actually want. So if you need help building yourself to be prepared for the healthy love you actually want to have, so that whenever you have that partner that comes along, you can thrive with them, or to heal yourself now while you're still in your current relationship so you don't sabotage the one that you have that's your value, then email or DM me the word coaching and we will get to work, only if you're truly ready to put that work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, the time, space, maybe even the resources, then at least email or DM me the word transformation to take one of my transformation courses, or maybe both of them, that help you learn how to do that inner work to fix self, as well as how to work through conflict in a healthy, more effective way in a relationship, and how to build your relationship stronger than ever at your own pace, on your own time. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.